Good morning, my name is Anthony Green. I'm a senior at Ponitz High School in Media Arts, and today I'm here to introduce survivor, author, founder, and public speaker, Mr. Dion Green, the founder of Flourishing Under Distress Giving Encouragement, also known as the FUDGE program. It's a 501c3 nonprofit that helps survivors through traumatic experiences. With resources, the FUDGE program, it seeks to support individuals on their journey of grief and healing from traumatic events through delivery and support service and advocacy on both a local and national level. Mr. Green has his MBA from Keller's Graduate University. He also has a minor in entrepreneurship and a bachelor from science in Devery University in Business Administration. Mr. Green is a certified peer support specialist with the state of Ohio. Mr. Green is a survivor, overcoming many personal obstacles and showing others how they can survive too. He is an advocate on gun violence, mental health, and gun legislation, which was inspired by the mass shooting that occurred in Dayton, Ohio in 2019, which claimed his father's life and many other innocent victims. Dion speaks around the country and in communities that have been impacted by gun violence. In addition to his foundation, the Gun Legislation Advocacy Service and Gun Rally Participation Service, he serves on the board of Felons with a Future, Upturn Ohio, and numerous other community initiatives support networks across the country. Mr. Green is a publisher, author, and a memoir entitled Act of God and Act of Man, sharing his tragedies and demonstrating a sense of resilience through his journey by forgiving and giving back to his community. Mr. Green is a 2021 graduate of Leadership Ohio, which was the second largest class in the program's history. That was composed of accomplished professionals from the private sector, government, and also nonprofit areas. Mr. Green is the recipient of multiple awards and recognitions from local offices and governments. Mr. Green was nominated and awarded twice by the Dayton Daily News in 2021 as the Community Gem. A recognition for his work continued to the Dayton community and surrounding areas. These articles are noteworthy of the work that Mr. Green does for his community. He works tirelessly to help these communities heal. In addition, Mr. Green also was a recipient of the Coretta Scott King Legacy Award presented by the Coretta Scott King Foundation for Cultural and Intellectual Freedom in April 2022. Mr. Green is a mentor, a leader, and a change agent for the community. His leadership reigns throughout the community and beyond. He remains dedicated to working with people from a variety of backgrounds and enhancing the community. Please welcome Mr. Green.
Give Mr. Green a hand again. First of all, hello and good morning. How are y'all doing this morning? Y'all happy it's Friday? Yeah. Well, once again, I want to welcome y'all to a three-part series. Today is the first of the three-part series. It's just an introduction of who I am and a kickoff to gun violence prevention. Today, I'll just be sharing what we're going to be getting to later on in the future. Today, it'll be about me, but then we'll have panels conducted by adults that have been impacted by gun violence. Then we'll have student-led panels. So once again, my name is Dion Green. I'm the CEO of the FUDGE Foundation that helps support individuals on the journey of grief and healing from traumatic events through delivery of support services and advocacy of both a local and a national level. I'm located here in Dayton, Ohio. I've been a nonprofit going on 3.5 years since August 4th, the 2019 mass shooting. I'm excited to be here with you this morning. Let me take this mic. I'm excited to be here with you this morning to be able to speak about the impact of gun violence and the impact it leaves behind. Because of this year, the leading cause of death in the United States, do anybody know what that is? You are correct. This year, gun violence is the leading cause of death in America. We are watching continuously these weapons destroy families, communities, and our country. And every time I look at it and see it on television, I say, when is enough enough? Because I know I'm tired of seeing families losing their loved ones to these senseless acts of gun violence and had to live with that forever pain of trauma that followed you for the rest of your life. And the reason why I know that pain is a lifetime is because I am a survivor as well. As I said, I am a survivor from the August 4th, 2019 mass shooting that happened here in downtown Dayton at the Oregon District, claiming 9 lives, which one of them was my father, Derek Fudge, who died in my arms that night. It's a vision and a pain that I will never forget or lose as I continue to walk this earth, because not knowing that will be my last day with my father bothers me to this day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think or miss him. And as I replay that night back and forth, I really do not understand how I'm here standing in front of you all speaking, because in my opinion, I should have not made it. But someone with a higher purpose and a final say-so must knew it wasn't my time. And it was a reason for me to still be here. So with knowing that I had a purpose, I made a choice to honor my father and the other lives taken that night by fighting here in Ohio and across the country so people wouldn't have to experience this heartache and pain that I'm faced with every night and day from that everlasting trauma I endured from that night. So I made it a point to stand up to fight bills across our state, across our country, so people with mental health and criminal backgrounds don't obtain these type of weapons to cause harm to themselves and others. And it's a fight. But I owe it to my father and to those, and I owe it to y'all as well to create a safer community for y'all as well. Because the trauma that comes with that horrific night is something I'm still seeing my therapist on and still learning how to cope with certain things that occur in my everyday life. And it takes time and willingness to want to receive that help, but I had to because I was having flashbacks, nightmares, sleepless nights, and lashing out with anger. I'm a father as well. I have a 9th grade daughter. But I knew that it was not me, and I didn't want my actions or intentions to hurt myself or my family because we was already hurting as it was. So to heal myself, I at least had to step into counseling to at least have some sense of normalcy in my life, because my life changed for the worse, but it's also for the best. And it has been helping me because since then I have changed bills here in Ohio. I also was invited to the White House to meet the president and watch him sign a bill that me and other survivors around the country worked on, hopefully to create a safer tomorrow and a future for our youth and so forth. And that was a huge accomplishment. I work with survivors all over the country that have lost their loved ones, and we've been on the forefront just trying to create change on gun violence, standing your ground, permitless carry, arming teachers. So we just been fighting that just so y'all don't have to experience this pain. It's a pain that never goes away, because the amount of gun violence that we have been seeing with our youth in our community is sad. It is like our youth, they don't care about their life or the life of others, and I don't understand when that became all right or cool. And, one of my opinions, I think, that has shifted that way, it becomes to social media and the rap music. The generation of music that the kids are listening to nowadays talking about drugs and murder, it's ruining our youth's lives. Because let me be the first to share with you with this. Those rappers are entertainers. They are living their best life, and they're not trying to lose what they have gained. But it's the youth that are taking them lyrics and living them songs out and making it come to life. But guess what? When you're in the courthouse and you're fighting a case or losing a loved one, them entertainers, them rappers are not here helping you, paying for attorney fees, paying for burial expenses. So I need y'all to really start to distinguish what's real and what's not, because a lot of our youth is listening to these lyrics and living these lyrics out in real life, and it's costing them their life. And the reason why I say that, because I care about each and every one of y'all lives in this auditorium, because if I didn't, I would not be here standing speaking to you all about this situation. My dream is to see your dreams come to life and watch each and every one of you make something out of yourselves, whether it's creating a career or starting a family. But you owe it to yourself to get there. So before I move on to the next topic that I think is very needed, that y'all have to learn, because it's something that we're born with, that we, from the day in, from day out. I just want to ask a couple questions. Who in this room has seen or know someone who owns a gun? Wow. So my thing, if your family or someone owns a gun and they're not keeping it properly stored or having gun locks, have that conversation with them, because that is preventable. We can stop these incidental gun-related deaths at home if the adults lock their weapons up or put gun locks on their what's the name. And if any of y'all have a question about where to receive that at, please let me know. I can help y'all out with this. Are there guns in your homes? Are y'all adults? Are they firearm owners? Are they responsible firearm owners? So that's something that, you know, if you get a chance, just pay attention to make sure that they're keeping it properly locked up and with a gun lock, just for your safety and those in the house. Next question. So who in here knows someone who has been directly or indirectly affected by gun violence? Raise your hand. Wow. How does that make you feel? Anybody want to speak? Or you don't have to, it's all volunteer. If anybody want to share, you know, whether it was a friend, a family, go ahead. Yes, I understand. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. So the challenge I had when I was, go ahead. Wow. Well, he got a hold of a gun that was, see, and that's one of the things that I was just saying on responsible gun owners, to keep your guns locked up or with a gun lock, because we can prevent them. We can prevent them from happening. I lost a cousin like that, found his father's gun and had a mishap. So, you know, if there's one in your home, it's all right to ask that question with your family. Just, you know, just tell them you feel concerned and just ask them, hey, can you lock this up or put a gun lock on there, just for the safetyness of everyone in the house. Thank you for sharing. So the challenge I had when I was creating this speech, was preparing, was what is the one thing that I want the youth that needs to hear and understand from this message? And what came to mind was choices and impact. And the reason why I chose choices, because from the beginning to end of our lives, everything starts and ends with a choice, right? Just like I had a choice to be here and not to speak with y'all. We all have choices in life. And once y'all understand that, because I had to make a couple mistakes and rewrite my choices. Because I remember graduating, being fresh out of high school, telling myself I did not want no job. I want to be like the guys I see around the neighborhood with the flashy cars and jewelry and money. Like, why get a job that I can get at selling drugs? So I started selling drugs, and I was acquiring all the things that I wanted. But guess what? All good things will come to an end if it's not the righteous choice. And it sure did. My consequences landed me in prison for 8 years due to the choices I made. But what we must realize is that our choices has impact. But I didn't care about the impact because I was only worried about me, myself, and I, and that is something we must break, because us not caring how it affects people is really selfishness. Because my choices affected everyone around me, from going back and forth to court, being in prison, because now my family, they have to send money, visit me, and take care of me, and I'm a grown man. But the biggest one was I had to watch my daughter grow up without me being present in her everyday life. And that made me realize that I had to make a choice once I leave here, and that had to be the right choice, because I want to be a father in her life and not being not present. But the reason why I want to share with you my past, because every one of you in this room will have a time where you will have to make a choice in your life that will determine your future. Some choices you can go back and correct them later as mistakes, but the choices that some of y'all are making is either putting you behind bars for the rest of your life or in the cemetery. And the impact it is leaving on the families is unbearable and very painful. So, you know, I beg, if you find yourself in a situation, please stop and think and put yourself in your family's shoes or the other family's shoes, and imagine what it's like and what they would go through if they lost a loved one to violence, or if you were the one that took that person's life, because there's always another way than resorting to violence. Always. So who in here had to make a tough choice one time in their life where they knew it could have landed them or got them in trouble, but you did? So, like, when I was going through that situations, like, I would lie, like, oh, I got to go home. I would make anything up. How did you get out of yours? And that's good. And you just never know. And that's key, because there's going to be a point in your life where you're going to have to make that choice. Who else in here had to make a choice that could have landed them in trouble? And how did you get out of it? I'll come to you. Go ahead. Amen. And sometimes when you make them choices, and if they don't agree with them choices you make, then they're really not your friends. So I just want y'all to know that, like, it's all right to walk away from a situation, and if they don't understand, then they weren't your friends in the first place. Because, you know, what I have been seeing from working with families across the country is John and Jane are best friends, but John picks up Jane and Jane sees a gun on John's lap. She makes the choice to get in the car, but she's arguing with John is having beef with another student. And what we've been seeing is the two that are arguing are shooting at each other, but it's the innocent bystander that is dying. So that's why I want y'all to make them type of choices when you see somebody with a gun or something like that. It's all right to walk away, and you can make up any lie you need to, just like how Kevin Hart said, there's a Deborah, make a lie up. It doesn't matter. You know, that's your choice and that's your decision and your future. So please pay attention to that and just make the right choices when you put yourself in them situations. But was there anyone else that got out of the situation? Wow, thank you for sharing. So, before we depart from this assembly, we cannot end it without speaking on a four-letter word called hope. Because to me, hope is the catalyst on what keeps me inspired and motivated to keep this drive going to continue helping those around the country who has been impacted by gun violence. Because I know at times things seem hopeless and nothing is changing, but trust me, we can continue to keep saving lives together. So today, I ask all of y'all that are in this auditorium to be a part of this movement to help reduce gun violence, to help save lives. You know, my ultimate goal is to save the world, but that's a wish. But what we can continue to keep, everything's all right. But what we can continue to keep doing is saving those that are around and the ones that matter the most. But I need y'all to understand in this movement, I need y'all to understand that your life means something as well as in this world as well. Because I believe in y'all, we believe in y'all, but do you believe in you? Because we won't ever stop believing that. That is why Angela and DPS is so invested in helping as much as we can by pouring back into our youth, so you don't have to experience what I did or even make a choice that can ruin your life forever. So today I would like to challenge you by being kind to others and helping those around you who might need help. And that can come in the form of, how's your day? Is everything all right? Do you want to talk, or would you like me to get someone to talk to? Or just talking to your friends. There's some simple things that can help or even save someone's life just by asking those questions. So starting today, I challenge y'all to step into your leadership role by creating a safer and a brighter future for you and your peers around you. And remember, this world has so much to offer. And this is only the beginning of y'all journeys. And you owe it to yourself to be able to see what your purpose is here on earth and what your impact will be on it. But you have to make that right choice that will continue to keep pushing you forward in life. And yes, a part of life comes with setbacks. That is a part of life. But learn from it, grow from it, and continue to be the best version of yourself. Because we all have setbacks. Ain't nobody in here never had a setback, but it's how you come back from it. Because through my pain, I found a bigger and a stronger version of me, because I was not afraid to share and express how I feel about something. The word vulnerability. Who in here know what vulnerability, the definition of vulnerability? You take it to Mike. So that is correct. But let me tell you that vulnerability does not equal weakness. It equals strength, because the word vulnerability became a big part of me. But before my event, I would not cry or express how I feel because I had a reputation to hold up. I didn't want to look weak. I didn't want to do this and that because I'm the man. Screw all that. I was hurting. Who cared about my reputation and how someone looks or feel about me? Because I guarantee that a person, an individual didn't lose their father or loved one to a senseless act of gun violence. And I was hurting. But from all that pain that I suffered, I took that pain and turned it into something bigger and greater with a purpose, by honoring with action, creating change, and becoming a voice across the country to help other gun violence survivors. So I say this to you all: do what you know is right, and don't be afraid to speak up and be vulnerable, because once again, vulnerability equals strength, and there are so many of you going through something, and it is okay but it is not okay if you do not speak up and address the situation at hand. Because holding certain things back can become toxic and not healthy for the mind and body. So start paying attention to yourself and ask for help when needed, because your leadership and willingness to open up could be a start of helping others around you heal as well. So once again, you know, I just want to say I thank y'all for being here and listening. And, you know, I challenge y'all to step into this movement and help save lives, because y'all are the change agents. You know, I'm just the adult to provide resources and awareness. Y'all are the ones that can touch each other. So I'm gonna end on that note. And if any of y'all have any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll move on from there. But I hope y'all have a great weekend as well. Thank y'all.